Hi guys, this is Concept.
Join us on the journey, get ready, set.
So glad you decided to join us in today's video about maintaining mental health. Before I get started, I just wanted to quickly say I got some feedback on the last video that the mask was a little scary or creepy, and I get that. I'm definitely not trying to make anyone feel more stressed out than they already are. But after thinking about it, I realized that I'm actually very scared of crazy people on the internet. And so I'm going to keep the mask on. But I will try to make the video less scary in other ways. Last time, we already started talking a little bit about the growing instability of the current global situation. We're already seeing increased military activity around the world. We have the pending AI takeover. Money's getting tighter and tighter for everyone, it seems. We have increased frequency and impact of extreme weather events, not to mention increasing levels of crop failures, soil degradation, ocean acidification, etc., etc. But really, what I just wanted to talk about in today's video is what are you going to do when shit really hits the fan? How are you going to react when things really start to collapse? And I do want to acknowledge that for some people, collapse has actually already happened. In Asheville, North Carolina, there are people who still don't have running water or electricity back. And that's not even to mention the millions of people around the world who have not had access to either of those things, either ever or in a very long time. So if you're already living in that space, I'm sorry, my heart is with you. But if you have any tips on how to find purpose and meaning for those of us who aren't there yet, I would welcome them in the comments. I mean, what's it gonna be like, and what are you gonna do? How are you gonna react when you're scared, when you feel alone, when you're hungry, when you're tired, you don't feel safe, when it seems like everyone's having to work harder and harder just to stay alive? For example, are you gonna shut down, get depressed? Are you going to quake with fear at the realization of your own mortality? Or maybe you'll get irrational. Are you going to lash out and get violent against your neighbors who probably didn't actually cause the problem? How's everyone going to react? How are you going to react? Well, first of all, I'd say remember that you're not alone. We're all in this together, all currently 8.2 billion of us.
Laughs and smiles and fun away.
Secondly, remember you actually can choose how you react and what level of kindness and courageousness you want to practice. Remember, kindness can be as contagious as fear and hysteria, and that we're social animals. We will always get further working together than we will alone. If you're able to maintain your own mental stability and be gentle and mindful to the people around you, they will be better able to and more likely to display the same behavior towards you. Third, and this is the main thing I wanted to talk about, try to find meaning or purpose. Viktor Frankl's classic book, Man's Search for Meaning, is an autobiographical catalog of the author's experience as a Jewish psychotherapist who survived multiple Nazi concentration camps. What he observed in his fellow inmates was that those who were able to connect to a positive purpose in life were actually able to survive longer. But can you really imagine this? You are starving, cold, beaten, and under constant threat of execution, and someone suggests you would be less depressed if you found purpose in life? This would be no easy task. And I'm not suggesting that this is something that is simple to do, but it's worth considering what could your purpose be, especially if it would improve your chances of surviving, and especially if you are currently living in a situation of relative comfort and have the privilege and time to think about what that purpose could be, and maybe even develop the skills to act on it when the time comes. To better explain what I mean and to give you some ideas of examples about possible life purposes during times of collapse, I'll say that Frankl divided these meanings into a few broad categories. The first was completion of tasks, finding work that is creative or aligns with your skills or higher purpose. For example, Frankl used his skills as a psychotherapist to try to keep his fellow inmates going. In more modern times, if you're living in a situation where food supply chains are not functioning properly, you can find work trying to garden or farm to keep yourself and your loved ones fed and alive. That's a great purpose. Two, love or caring for another person. In difficult times, Frankl would think of his wife who died in the camps, and he would even converse with her in his mind, which gave him the strength to carry on. Most of us have people that we love, and thinking about them can help us keep going, even if they're not physically present. Three, finding meaning by facing suffering with dignity. If you are being oppressed or abused by someone or some group, perhaps you never want to let them see you sweat, never give them the satisfaction. Likewise, what better way to exhibit personal strength, lift yourself and others than by learning to have a sense of humor and to laugh in the face of suffering? I'm not going to spend too much more time giving examples about different types of purposes or meaning that people can find in times of collapse or difficulty. I think you guys can imagine what these could be, and I actually think it's more important to think about what your personal purpose could be when everything else is falling apart around you and all the regular structure of your life is no longer working the way that it was. I will just say that making these videos is my way of finding purpose in terrifying times, because I'm hoping, just hoping, that these videos will help at least one person out when things get dark. Again, finding purpose and meaning can help you survive longer, be happier, live a more meaningful life, even in the most dire of circumstances. All right, I think that's all from me now. Keep fighting the good fight. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I love you guys so much. Thank you. Bye.
Easy echo, go to the guns, no revive. Give up on this strive, and joy is our guide.